You've tried the morning routines, you've set the goals, made the lists, maybe even kept a streak going for a few days. And then, somewhere around day 4 or 5, without any warning, it just stops. Here's what nobody tells you. The problem isn't that you lack discipline. The problem is that you've been using the wrong tool to build it. There's a specific moment in your brain where intention breaks down before it ever becomes action. And once you understand exactly where that breakdown happens, everything changes. Today I'm going to show you what that moment is, why it keeps stopping you, and the 3 shifts that actually rewire how your brain follows through. Here's the thing most people never figure out. Wanting to do something and actually doing it are handled by 2 completely different parts of your brain. The part that sets goals, makes plans, and says, "I'm going to wake up early tomorrow." That's your prefrontal cortex. It's the part that thinks ahead. But the part that actually gets you out of bed when the alarm goes off, that runs on a completely different circuit. And those 2 parts don't automatically talk to each other. In 1997, a psychologist at New York University named Peter Gollwitzer ran a series of studies on exactly this gap. He split people into 2 groups. Both groups wanted to achieve the same goals. The first group wrote down what they wanted. The second group wrote down what they wanted, plus exactly when they would do it, where they would be, and what the first action would look like. The second group was more than twice as likely to follow through. Not because they were more motivated, not because they had a better morning routine, just because their intention was specific enough for the action part of their brain to actually receive it. That's the gap. You set a goal. I'm going to work out more, and your brain hears it. But the circuit responsible for turning that into movement never gets a clear enough signal to fire. It's not laziness, it's a wiring problem. The fix isn't trying harder. It's being more specific. Instead of, "I want to exercise," try, "I will go for a run at 7 a.m. on Monday at the park 3 blocks from my apartment." Same intention, completely different result. So if the brain needs a clear signal to act, what sends that signal most reliably? It's not a pep talk. It's not a reminder on your phone. It's your environment. Researchers at Cornell University ran a study in a school cafeteria. They didn't ban junk food. They didn't put up posters about healthy eating. They didn't give anyone a lecture. They just moved the fruit to eye level under brighter lighting and pushed the less healthy options to the back corner of the counter. That one change increased fruit selection by 35%. Nobody tried harder. Nobody needed more willpower. The environment changed, and the behavior followed automatically. Richard Thaler, who won the Nobel Prize in economics in 2017, spent decades studying exactly this. His finding was simple. People don't make decisions in a vacuum. They make decisions based on whatever is easiest to reach, easiest to see, and easiest to do in that moment. Design the environment right, and the right choice stops requiring effort. You can use this today. Put your running shoes next to your bed before you sleep. Move your phone charger out of your bedroom. Leave the book on your pillow. You're not fighting your own resistance anymore. You're just making the right thing the obvious thing. Now here's something that goes against everything you've probably been told about achieving goals. Visualizing success doesn't work. Not on its own. Gabriela Oettingen, a psychologist at New York University, spent over 20 years testing what actually happens in the brain when people imagine achieving their goals. The results were consistent and surprising. People who only visualized success were significantly less likely to follow through than people who didn't visualize at all. The reason is straightforward. When your brain vividly imagines a goal as already achieved, it releases dopamine, the same chemical it releases when you actually accomplish something. The tension that drives action disappears before any action has been taken. What works instead is a 4-step process Oettingen calls WOOP. Wish. What do you want? Outcome. What does achieving it actually look like? Obstacle. What specific thing is most likely to stop you? Plan. If that obstacle shows up, Exactly what will you do? The step most people skip is obstacle. That's the step that keeps the tension alive. That's what keeps your brain in motion instead of treating the goal like it's already done. Take 5 minutes tonight. Run through all 4 steps for one thing you've been putting off. The difference between the people who follow through and the people who don't often comes down to that one missing step. There's one more thing shaping your behavior that most people never think to look at: the people around you. In 2007, researchers Nicholas Christakis and James Fowler published a study in the New England Journal of Medicine tracking over 12,000 people across 3 decades. They found that behaviors spread through social networks the same way viruses do, not just between close friends, but between people separated by entire cities. If a close friend gained weight, your own likelihood of gaining weight increased by 57%. Same pattern held for smoking, drinking, and exercise. You don't need someone to tell you what to do. You just need to be around people who are already doing it. This doesn't mean cutting people out of your life. It means deliberately adding one person who is working toward something similar to what you're working toward. Not for motivation, not for accountability in the traditional sense, just because proximity to someone in motion makes it easier for you to stay in motion. One person. That's the smallest version of this you can act on today. So you've got the right environment. You've got a specific plan. You've got someone in your corner. And then day 6 arrives, and somehow it still falls apart. This is the part nobody warns you about. A researcher at University College London named Philippa Lally spent years tracking exactly how long it takes for a new behavior to become automatic. The popular answer, the one you've probably heard, is 21 days. Lally's data told a different story. Across her study of 96 participants published in 2010, the actual average was 66 days, and the path wasn't a straight line up. There was a plateau in the middle, a stretch where the habit wasn't automatic yet, but the initial excitement had already worn off. That stretch is where most people quit. Not because they're weak, not because the goal was wrong, because they hit that plateau and read it as failure, when it was actually just the middle of the process. The people who make it through don't push harder during that stretch. They do the opposite. They shrink the habit down to its smallest possible version. Can't run 3 miles? Run to the end of the block and come back. Can't read 30 pages? Read 1. The goal isn't performance. The goal is keeping the chain unbroken until the behavior crosses over into automatic. 66 days, not 21. And the middle stretch is supposed to feel hard. That's not a sign you're failing. That's a sign you're exactly where you need to be. You don't need more information about discipline. You already have enough of that. What you need is one change. Not 5. Not a full system overhaul. Just one thing you can do differently today. A more specific plan. A small shift in your environment. One person to stay close to. Or 5 minutes with WOOP before you go to sleep tonight. Pick one. Start there. And tell me in the comments, which one are you trying first?